Happy Wildgame Wednesday, everybody. It's Wednesday, it's hump day, and of course that means it's time for another Wildgame Wednesday. So, here we are in Montana Max National Park, as usual, ready to do some outdoor cooking. Of course, we always have a lovely theme for our events, and today's theme, well, we are doing Canadian goose. Not quack quack, onk, onk, onk. That's the sound a goose makes. I'm a professional goose caller. I spent some time in the range close to Canada where I heard geese from across the border and I learned their dialect. So I am able to communicate with the gooses. You see, it's a very like animal-human mind link trick that you can only learn if you were born and raised in the great state of Montucky. All right, we got everything set up. We're going to be doing goose 7 different ways tonight. I'm just kidding. Ain't nobody got time for that. We're going to be doing 2 awesome recipes, though. We are going to be doing goose in a more traditional style, which we are going to do a bacon wrapped goose, because everyone loves bacon. And then we're going to do, try to get a little fusion going on in our lives, and we're going to do a spicy stir fry, because goose loves flavor. I love flavor. So we're going to combine those two and make a couple real flavorful dishes that are easy for you to do at home. You might notice my new addition to the set here. I'm super proud of my new Traeger flag. That's right. Hall of Flamer, as they say. Yep, I'm a giant flamer. But that's all right. You are what you eat. That doesn't make any sense. And that's all right, because it's Wednesday. So as always, I've got my libation. I'm doing a little spotted cow from New Glarus, which is right across the border here in Wisconsin, only found there. So be jealous, it eats like a meal. But we all need a little something to get us through these times, get us through the week. And once again, as always, I really appreciate everyone being here who's tuning in. Let's get busy starting to cook. So we're going to start with the bacon wrapped goose, because that's going to take a little bit more time to do. And so let's not hesitate. Our last show, we had some people that were pretty fanatic over bacon. So we're going to lead with our good foot here and get bacon into the mix right away. Now, in order, you could just wrap it around it, but that's no fun. I'm going to be doing what is known as a bacon weave. So, standard package, we are going to be using thick cut bacon. Now, the key to goose is it is super lean. You always hear me talking about how wild game's lean. That's because it's out there in nature, running around, trying to evade predators and things like that. So it doesn't carry a lot of fat on it, right? I've shown you that with antelope, especially very lean, bison, elk, all very lean animals. Birds even more so. They have to flap their wings a lot. That's how they stay in the air, right? And so what we're going to do is find ways to ensure that we keep moisture in the meat. So a good way to do that is using other meats, right, that contain high amounts of fat, like me. And we're going to use that to keep moisture in with the goose. So let's go ahead and get our bacon to open up here. And I'm going to show you, it's a very, very easy thing to do, but it looks amazing with presentation. Now, the other thing that I should mention, of all the meats that we've cooked, goose is going to be what, people often refer to is gamey, right? It's a gamey meat. It's going to have a gamey flavor to it. So you're going to want to make sure that we take steps to flavor that. It's sitting right in front of me. Don't need a shot of it because I'll hold it up and show them. But we have goose that's been marinating for the last 24 hours. I'm using 2 different marinades, both from Croy Valley. We're using the garlic and herb marinade and the hot and spicy marinade. The garlic and herb we're going to be using in our first recipe. The hot and spicy we'll be using in our stir fry, right? But these have been soaking in that overnight for quite some time to help penetrate that piece of meat and really get that flavor absorbed into it. So the first thing we want to do is we want to lay out some bacon. My board's sliding around on me, that's all right. So we're going to lay out our bacon. And we'll use half the package going horizontally, and then we will weave the other half in laterally, right? You see where I'm going with this? You do not need to go out and buy a bacon loom. All right? A lot of people spend a lot of good money on bacon looms. You don't want to do that. All right? You'll find a bacon loom in the cooking section of your hardware store right next to the 2x4 stretchers. All right? If you absolutely insist on having one. All right, so first things first, we're just going to lay out the bacon. And then it's a simple process. Every other one, fold it back, lay it down, lay it back over. If you're a female home chef and you had a childhood of braiding hair and things like that, this is going to be very easy for you. If you're a guy, I'm trying to make it real simple. Half of them go back, lay it down. Now, flip the other half back. It took me a while to get. Don't be embarrassed. Those people that can like braid hair and stuff, they could probably do some really crazy bacon weaves. Do you want your bacon weave in like a side knot that's up? See, and how we're already coming together, and then we're just going to use our fingers there. It's all right. It's bacon. It's not going to hurt you. It's been cured. It's been cooked. Look it, we're weaving. Then we just repeat the process and go the other way. This will also hold together much better around the goose breast that we're going to be doing this with than just wrapping it around. Such an easy way and such a beautiful presentation. Okay, here we go. We're almost there. How frickin' easy. And if you get real ambitious and have a lot of packs of bacon, you could weave yourself a bacon hammock. And then you could rest in the most delicious place that you could ever imagine. All right. And we're going to slip that guy right there. Awesome. I really wish our Norwegian friends were here right now. They would love this. They would love this. Maybe they will. It depends on what time it is in good old Norway. I'll slip this guy down here real quick. Probably about 11 o'clock. Might need to start a little earlier to get in touch with our Norway audience. But that's what game day Sundays are for. Depends on what day of the week it is. All right, I'm going to tilt this board up here. Look at that. Absolutely beautifully gorgeous bacon weave. Took no time at all. It's going to cover, hold together, and we're going to put our breast in the middle of that and then just tuck everything over, flip it, and it's going to go on the grill. It's that frickin' easy. All right, so now for the star of the show, which isn't bacon. I know, surprise, surprise, it's not bacon. We're going to start with our first goose breast. This is also these same techniques. If you have duck, work awesome with duck. All right, treat yourself because you just did a bacon weave. All right, here we go. Magic time. I'm going to glove up for this. Like I said, the whole reason that we're doing Mr. Bacon Weave, moisture and flavor. It's twofold. It's a twofold attack here. And I'm going to show you too once we get this on there. We're actually going to use a goose thigh, and we're not going to treat it with anything, okay? We're not going to do anything to it. If you're under science, which a lot of people who cook are into science, because essentially what we're doing is a form of chemistry. So if you're a science person, you're going to be really good probably at cooking. So we're going to have what we would call in the scientific community is a control piece of meat. So when we have our two recipes, we're going to be able to compare to this thigh what happens when you cook a goose thigh that's not been marinated, that doesn't have a bacon wrap, that doesn't have anything to it. We will throw a little seasoning on it just because you got to have a little seasoning. But beyond that, we're not taking any of these preparatory steps that we're doing with the other pieces of meat. Okay, so this is the one that's been sitting here in the bag. You can see that's just a big bag of marinade. That's garlic and herb. Which, if you're into wild game, no matter what you're cooking, you will see that we go to that a lot. when we are cooking wild game. It's so awesome. If you're a hunter, you definitely should have a bottle of that in your pantry. All right. Let it drip off here. And you can see, and I'll show you when I pull one out that hasn't been treated, but goose is a much darker meat. It's not like your chicken. All right. So right down, right in the middle of the bacon weave. Large goose breast here. Olivia claims to have shot this goose. I'm not buying it. I think it was handed to her. But we'll let her think she did. All right, so we have marinated it. Now we're going to add a little seasoning to it as well. So I'm going to just pull out here a little all meat seasoning. And we're going to just lightly dust it. You don't need to get real heavy-handed. This isn't like we're seasoning up a pork butt or something here where you got to put on a big coated layer of it. There we go. And you just want that nice left to right motion, give you nice even coverage there. Looking beautiful, smelling beautiful already. Don't overthink. What's it? I did shoot it. I got 2. Not according to Tim, you didn't. According to that, he said the second one could have been either of them, which means he got it. All right, so here we go. Take our bacon weave. And actually, I just did a cardinal sin there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top of the breast, which is going to be the show side, right? We're going to put, after we season it, we're going to flip it over, put that side down. Because we want the nice, beautiful bacon weave on top of it. And then we got to season both sides. I got talking. That'll happen when you're on a camera. Get talking. I wing the second one. Sure, that's what they all say. That's what they all say. All right. If you're just joining us, we're just getting ready with our first goose dish here. Completed the bacon weave. Bam. Bam. Here we go. Seasoned it. Now we're going to just cover that bacon weave. Flip everything over. Tuck the ends. Everything on the bottom. Lovely thick cut bacon. And then we'll turn it over. Here we go. Now look how gorgeous that looks on the top of it with that bacon weave. Doesn't matter on the bottom. The bottom does not matter. Just tuck everything in, get it nice and even. They're not seeing the bottom. This is what they're going to see when you present it on the table, when you cut it, all that good stuff, right? But that is absolutely freaking gorgeous. Now, if you've joined us on our streams before, right, what do I always say? Season everything. So we're actually going to season the top of the bacon here too. Take my old standby, little Memphis rub, back and forth. We're going to give that bacon just a nice season on top. It's going to add some color, add a little flavor. Now that is absolutely gorgeous. That's it. Don't overthink it, right? You want to get fancy on your wild game? The more elements you add to the actual piece of meat, the more things you have that can go wrong with it. It's kind of like dealing with gamier meat like goose or duck or things like that. It's kind of like diffusing a bomb, right? You don't want to make the wrong move. One wrong move, it'll dry out. It'll taste foul. You know, it's all these kind of things that are working with you here, or against you rather. So keep it simple. Concentrate on flavor. That's what we're going to do here. And then we're going to also present some sides around it that are going to make it look really beautiful with a lot of flavor. All right, so I'm going to pop some gloves on here, and we are going to transfer this right over to the Traeger. There we go. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. At the same time, after I get this on, we'll go ahead and pull out that thigh, and I'll show it to you, and you can see what a raw piece of goose meat looks like if you've never seen it before. Very much like duck, and we'll get that going at the same time so you can kind of see when we pull them what goes on. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. We're just getting ready here to put our lovely, look at that, beautiful close-up, bacon weave wrapped, right? Because we're so fancy out here in the woods. Goose breast, Canadian goose to be specific. And we're going to put that right there, that beautiful piece of meat, right on our Traeger grill. You can do this in an oven too. All this stuff you can do in an oven, not a big deal. All right. That bag of nasty goes in the trash. Now let me grab this thigh here. Here's some police sirens in the background. There must be some bears making off with a bank robbery. There's some sketchy bears that live in these woods. All right. Here we go. Parker, since my hands are dirty, if you can go ahead and switch it to the cutting board camera, and then go ahead and give these people a close-up here. That's actually pretty good right there. As you can see, there's a little bit of fat right here, which I could probably even pull that off, which I can. There's very little fat in there at all. Just a little bit there, not much, but you can already see how dark that is compared to any of your other poultry, whether it be turkey. Turkey dark meat ain't got nothing on goose. It all dark meat. So anyways, we'll throw a little seasoning on this, and then we'll put her right onto the Traeger so we can go ahead and do a little comparison, a little side-by-side value. So just season her up. Flip her on over. Season. I don't think I've ever, in my times of cooking and eating wild game, have ever heard, like at Thanksgiving, where it's like the battle is over the leg. Like, who gets the leg, right? Is it dad or is it the kid? It's always dad, right? Dad gets the leg if he wants it. I've never heard anyone go, ooh, I get the goose leg. Haven't heard that. There's a reason why. All right, so this is all seasoned up. Follow the bouncing goose leg. And we're going to throw her just right on the grill. And I'm actually going to spray the grill here a little bit. With the bacon wrap, I mean, it's always a good idea to spray your grates, but with the bacon wrap, it's not such an essential deal as it cooks. There's so much fat in the bacon that it's not going to stick. This is just a raw piece of meat, though, with none of that beautiful bacon wrapped around it. So we're going to give that a little spray. We don't want it sticking. Easy, right? Awesome. Thanks for joining us. If you're just jumping in, let's give them a look at the grill here real quick, because we just finished getting our first recipe started here. And up on the Traeger here, we've got a beautiful bacon weave. We weaved bacon because we're all artsy like that, right? And wrapped it around seasoned and marinated Canadian goose breast. Then right next to it, you'll see we have our control. That is a goose thigh, goose leg, right? And we just put a little seasoning on that, and we've been talking about how lean goose actually is. Extremely lean. And the big thing is if you don't treat it, you don't do things to it, which those are the tricks that I want you to come away with from this episode. If you don't take the time to do things like marinade, or you can take your marinade with a syringe and actually inject it straight into the piece of meat. If you're not doing those steps, it's going to dry out real quickly because it doesn't have that fat in it, like most wild game, but especially fowl. You know, speaking of that, I better be careful. I'd hate to get in trouble for using foul language. Treat yourself. Oh, that's delicious. All right. So we are going to do a couple easy side dishes with that as well. And then we do have one more lovely ducky here. But it's not a lovely ducky. It's a lovely goose. And we're going to start getting that going in just a minute here. But the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to prep real quickly, because no one tunes in to watch me prep, especially my mother. But we're going to do what we're going to do for one of the sides here. And I'm going to show you easy rustic side, right? It's all about easy. Especially, I've said this before too on Wednesday episodes where we're all getting wild on Wednesday because it's Wildgame Wednesday. What I've said before is if you're out, you know, right now we're at Montana Max Grand Lodge, so we have amenities like running water and electricity and Traeger flags and all this good stuff. But if you're off the grid, right, and you can do these dishes very easily over a live fire and stuff like that, it is going to change your cooking time and stuff like that. But you can't pack a whole frickin' mobile kitchen with you in your rucksack out to the middle of frickin' nowhere, and you'll be like, oh, just give me an hour to set up my tables and all this other crap. And you know, you're going to be carrying minimalistic things with you. That doesn't mean you have to sacrifice flavor, right? You just have to make smart decisions on what you're doing. So we're going to do one side with lovely yellow zucchini. I chose yellow because another tip, and I'm sure you've heard me say this more times than ever, is it's a beautiful way to add color to the dish, right? So we're going to have several different colors going on with our dish here, several different flavor profiles that create a whole experience when you're eating, right? That's what we're looking for. You really want an experience, right? Especially if you're out in the woods. So all you have to do is get some yellow zucchinis. Bam. And for these guys, what do you feel like today, ladies? Do you feel like full moons or half moons? Full moon? Oh, no. Just kidding. Don't want to get Twitter banned. All right. So we got a split crowd here. So I'll tell you what, I've got enough. We can do a little of each. Not a big deal. As always, make sure you're using a sharp knife here. I'm using my Gunter Wilhelm Nakiri knife. This is designed for chopping vegetables. I know by the way it looks like it's a giant cleaver. This is strictly used for vegetables. So we will go ahead and cut some full moon style, and we'll go ahead and cut some half moon style. So this one will just start. The key again here, right, is even size, right? Now this squash is obviously, if I hold that up, like I'm playing zucchini poker, you can see the size of the squash tapers. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about thickness of the pieces here. See? See when we cut it? They're all the same thickness. Why is that? Because we want everything to cook evenly and at the same time. We don't want stuff to burn or get done too early while the rest of it isn't. We want nice, consistent cooking across the board so everything finishes at the same time. So concentrate on that when you're cutting, and the more you do it, the faster you'll get at it. It's real simple. People who just are starting to jump into cooking, like, it takes so long, it takes so much time. And then a couple weeks of doing it, they're like, oh my gosh, it doesn't take that long anymore. Just like anything, it takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of doing it, and you'll see it won't take that. It won't take that as long as it used to when you first got started. Now we'll do some half moons. We'll just cut it in half. Go right down. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Do some different shapes, do whatever you like. Make it look how you want. With all these episodes, I always tell you, you know, feel free to experiment. Feel free to play with it. If you're not sure of something you're doing, that's not a big deal. If you have questions, get at us. Hit me up on the Instagram over there. Jump into my DMs if you've got a cooking question. Go to the website. Send me an email. Send me a carrier pigeon with a message. After the pigeon gets here, we'll dispatch it and cook it on the next episode. Whatever's easy for you. or jump in the chat if you're here joining us. It doesn't even have to be questions about what we're doing tonight. If you have cooking questions on anything, whether it be equipment, gear, flavor combinations, go ahead and ask. That's why I'm here. If you're just tuning in to this channel for the first time and you're like, who the hell is this bearded, beautiful son of a bitch? Well, I'm Montana Max, and what Jen and I do, and you'll see Jen a little bit later, but she's always here with me, and Jen and I compete in professional food sport, right? And so we compete in barbecue competitions, hence why it's Montana Max BBQ. That's where we got our start in competition food sport, and it's expanded since then. So we compete now in SCA, which is steak cook-offs, Culinary Fight Club, which actually 1 year ago we were in the finals in Chicago with the best of the best chefs in Culinary Fight Club from around the United States. We were actually, about this time 1 year ago, we were just finishing up our cook. But yeah, if there's a competition, we're there, man. We love it. It's fun. You get to be creative, makes you think on your toes, you learn a lot, and you can win money. And you can win cool things like Traeger flags. All right, so we got all of our zucchini cut up here. Now I'm going to grab just aluminum pan here, grill safe pan. Get them at your grocery store, Sam's Club, whatever. And then we're going to use a little spray oil to coat the pan, because we do not want these beautiful zucchini sticking, right? You just put it in there without anything. They're going to stick. They're going to burn to it. Don't want that. Don't want that. A little char is one thing. Sticking to your pan, tearing it apart. Not going to present well. You're going to be disappointed. And I've got so much zucchini, I'll probably do 2 pans here. You will notice there's a lot of water retention in zucchini, so when you cook them, they will shrink down in size. So if you want to buy a slightly larger one, keep that in mind when you're going to go to plate or present, that they are going to lose some of their size. Not a big deal. So the longer you cook them, the more they're going to shrivel away. So just be mindful of that. What we're looking for is a nice texture, obviously. We don't want to cook them until they turn to mush. But like I said, when we started the whole line of logic before I went into Tangentville here, simple, right? All you have to do to cook these, cut them up, put them in a pan, spray your pan, get in there, couple over there, couple over here. All right, and then all we're going to do, take a little olive oil. If you're not packing olive oil, you can use your spray olive oil. If you're out off the grid, and just spray them with that, that's fine. That'll do the same sort of thing. Then we're going to take a little spicy booster here. Give just a nice, even shake to them across the board. Wind's picking up a little bit. You can see my spices blowing in the wind just a little bit to the left there. All right, season them up. Spicy booster, all-inclusive seasoning. You don't need salt, you don't need pepper, you don't need garlic, whatever else. And we're just going to give them a nice little shake around here. Then we're going to come back. We're going to get them to flip over there. Get them into one nice even layer. Come back and just dust one more time real quickly, because that'll cover both sides. Nice even coating. And then we're going to just throw these on the grill. We're only cooking tonight about 250 degrees, okay? If you throw goose, duck, things like that on at a temperature of like 400, 450, 500 degrees, you throw it in your oven that hot, it's going to dry out real quick. It's going to get tough. So you kind of got to take your time with Mr. Goose. You got to be gentle, right? Like, I'd like to get to know you a little bit before I eat you. So take your time. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a piece of meat that's dried out and tough. All right, so let's flip this over. Goosey McGooserson. We're going to move our thigh to create a little room here. Put it right behind there. Then we'll add our yellow zucchini. Just bend these pans up. I want them both to fit in there. And essentially, you can use like grill mats or something too, just so they don't fall through the grates. Doesn't matter if the pans bend or anything. We're just using it as a vessel here so they don't fall through the grates, right? All right. And we're going to go ahead and let those ride. Now, they can take a little bit longer because, like I said, we're cooking at a lower temperature, all right? Not a big deal. Half the work's done, man. Half the work is done. All right. And always, make sure you treat yourself. Treat yourself, treat yourself, treat yourself. All right. Now, because that's going to take a little while, that's why we have our other dish, so we can keep you entertained. So I'm not like, all right, that was fun. Now, you want to just hang out and have some beers for the next 45 minutes or so? You're like, yeah, totally. Why not? He seems cool. He's got an awesome beard. That's going to be boring for some people. So let's give you another goose recipe that we can jump into right away and get going here. Yes? Yes. All right. So, stir fry time. We're going to use a wok out on an open burner. This is going to be pretty rad, hopefully. And I'm going to kind of look here about how I want to lay everything out, because we got a bunch of different ingredients that we're going to be using in our stir fry. We're going to be doing a rustic stir fry. So, save this guy till later. He can move over there. We're going to be using green and red bell peppers, which I went ahead and just cut into strips before we came on air. Some fresh broccoli, which I also just chopped off the stump. Pair of scissors, easiest way to do it, before we came on the air. Because you don't want to see me just sit here and chop a broccoli. And if you're as old as I am, you know that is a freaking hilarious Dana Carvey reference. If you're not, you're just looking at me like, that guy's lame like my dad. We actually had one of our streamers go, "You're just like my dad." And I said, well, he must be a totally awesome guy then, because that's a pretty awesome compliment. And then onions. And then mushrooms, baby bella mushrooms. Now we have the wok cam. Wok of life. I'm actually going to move the cutting board over right in front of the wok here, so I can get all my ingredients here. Got our cutting board ready to go. And we're going to add all this stuff kind of at the same time, right? And once again, we are going to use the spicy booster for this is our main seasoning. And then we are going to use a little garlic ginger teriyaki. You could get like ginger root or whatever and throw that in there. I'm using a garlic ginger teriyaki sauce because that has everything I need for my Asian flair, right? So as I told you at the beginning, this breast that I'm going to pull out here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to cut it up into like stir-fry size pieces, into like chunks, right? Bite-sized chunks. And about the same size as like the broccoli and mushrooms and stuff. Once again, so everything cooks evenly. But that's going to have all the flavors I need, so I don't have to dink around with a bunch of extra like ginger and soy and everything else that goes into a stir fry. That's going to do it for me. Just plug and play. All you have to do, that easy. All right, so first things first, when you're cooking in a wok or doing a stir fry, if you don't have a wok and you have like a deep pan, whatever. I've got a wok because it's awesome. You got to have a wok. If you don't have a wok, I highly suggest it because they're fun. And you get to tell people, I've got a freaking wok. We're going to cook with a stir fry. The stir fry, the best possible method to cook with is at full, high, hot heat. As hot as possible. Over across the sea, in the land of Asia, when they make stir fry, they actually call the fire in the pan the breath of the dragon. That's why you want it so hot. That's traditionally how it's done, is extremely hot. Think breath of the dragon. Don't be afraid. It's a stir fry. We're going to be quick with it, right? We're stirring, We're frying. That's why it's a stir fry. I'm going to use my Spoonie McSpoonerson's No Good Nick brother, Wood Spoonie McSpoonerson. But first things first, let's go ahead. Fire on, fire on. This is just a simple little Coleman camping stove. They're like $19.99 at your Walmart. Whatever, works great with butane. And we're going to get the pan on, and we're going to get it nice and hot. And we're going to add some oil to the pan so we have a nice coating all the way around the pan. And that's going to heat up. We're going to let that go. Circle the pan around just like that, just with your wrist, so that oil coats all the surfaces nice and evenly. Because it is so hot, right? Because we're going to be cooking at a very high temperature here. If you don't oil up your pan real well and have some oil in the bottom of it, your food's going to stick to the pan. It's going to burn to the pan. And it's going to burn to the pan almost immediately. Spicy boosted goose? Count me in, says Croy Valley. Thanks for joining us. We're using so many Croy Valley products tonight. It should be a paid sponsorship. And it's silent. And Croy Valley left the room. All right, so I'm going to throw on some gloves. We're going to pull out our duck here. No one corrected me. It's not duck, it's goose. But you can do this with duck as well. Let's glove up. Now, this goose breast has been marinating for the last 24 hours here in hot and spicy marinade. Pull this bad boy out. Let it drip off just a little bit, right down on the cutting board. Awesome. Now, like I said, we're just going to chunk this up a little bit. So we're just going to take our knife, work through it here, sharp knife, and I'll actually hold this up so you can see uncooked. Perfect, thank you, good shot. Look at that, beautiful color, beautiful dark, rich maroon color here. That is so awesome, so awesome. I love color in cooking, it makes me happy. And then we're going to cut this into bite-sized pieces. I'm going to flip this around, use my dominant hand so I don't cut my fingers off. Then you're going to have a really bad time.
You might want to read that
comment. What? Oh, Croy Valley can have my next goose, and we'll see who the next Goose King is. Go ahead, when you actually shoot one. I did. Yeah. And we're going to cut these nice and thin. We're cooking extremely hot here. So we don't want to take a lot of time for these to cook through. Because we got vegetables, we got goose throwdown. Olivia, you're on. Does that mean you're going to cook against Olivia? Because we know what happens when you cook against me. Oh! We got all sorts of trash talking because it's Wildgame Wednesday. And tomorrow I'm fired. This is just some really beautiful looking meat here though. Want to try to keep them even sizes. If you ever bought stew meat or something like that, it's going to be kind of similar to that sort of cut. I'll hold it up here. There we go. See how thin we're cutting that? Super thin. We don't want it to get tough. It's going to go into the pan, get hot. Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Loving it. It's got just a little bit of nothing on the end of that. There's a little bit of fat on there. You can clean it off. It won't matter. It's going to be so hot. That's going to render off. That fat's flavor. Fat is flavor. It's not so much fat that some ha 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 ha. I envision that ha 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 comment though, in like, since I'm doing stir fry and everything, it's kind of like an old Japanese movie where it's like ha 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 ha. I will see you in battle. Ha 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 ha. Yes, we will face at sunrise and see who the real champion of the goose is. Ha 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 ha. Anime. All right, so we got the goose all chopped up. Like I said, this has been marinated. Beautiful pieces of meat here. I'm going to pop off one glove here so I can be like Michael Jackson of cooking. I just need like a studded glove. I'm going to get the temperature here, the oil in my pan. Kind of want to see where we're at. We're above 300 degrees. We should be good. We should be good to start rocking away here. All right. Got our wok centered. We got wok cam on. Life is good. So, first thing we're going to do, we use onions all the time. Onions, the base of flavor. Get some onions cooking in there. I just love that sound. I love that sound. It starts sizzling, starts crackling. Life is good. Life is good. Flame is rocking. All right. Let's throw a little spicy booster in there. Let's season it up. We're going to add seasoning as we go through, right? Season everything. Don't have to get heavy-handed. Always easier to add more than to take it away. You'll see you're going to need to add a little oil as we go too. The other thing, which we learned on a previous episode, when we did our Taki encrusted mac and cheese. Nice. The Duchess made bear tenderloin tonight at the Croy Valley house. Thankfully, the Duchess's sister also provided us with some bear. So we will be doing bear in a future episode. So awesome. Wild game all around. You got to do up that elk, man. That's what you got to do, is you got to get into that. You guys got to get into that elk. You're going to love it. It's one of my favorites. Highly coveted Montana elk. All right, onions cooking away. Threw a little seasoning in there. Let's get this bowl out of here. We're going to keep that right over here. All right, onions are working. Onions are seasoned. Wok cam is rocking. Going to take just a little peek here. Remember, every time that you open up your grill lid, whether you're on a kettle or a pellet grill or whatever, all your heat's going to come out. It's all right. We're doing a cooking show. You can use a probe in this model here, where you can actually probe your meat and then check it on your phone. You're like, oh, I know what the exact internal temperature of my meat is. Go Cowboys! Stupid Cowboys. We're Kansas City fans here. That's going to be the next flag in the background. We have a Traeger flag and a Kansas City flag and then a United States flag, because America. Once again, if you're joining us here on Twitch or on YouTube or anywhere around the interwebverse, right? That's what they call it. The kids call it the interwebverse. Thank you for joining us. We're in the middle of both of our recipes right now. We're going to take a quick peek over here. If we want to go off a wok cam for just a quick moment, you want to follow me over to the Traeger. Smelling actually delicious. With our marinades, our seasonings, we got a bacon weave going on here. You can see that starting to change colors. It's starting to turn up, and then we do have our control meat right behind that. Then we got zucchini over to the right. Simply seasoned up with a little olive oil, a little seasoning. It goes on. It's also a great food to go onto a smoker because of its high water and the vegetable content in it. It'll soak up smoke, not a problem. I'm going to go ahead and kick up the temperature too on my Traeger since I opened the lid to make up a little ground there, right? All right, onions are working. So the second recipe, which we're working on, while that goes ahead and cooks away over there, is we got the onions starting to work. Let's go ahead and add in a little green and red pepper. I actually might take about half of this out and put it back into a bowl because I overestimated the size of my wok. I need a much larger wok, apparently. Babe, will you add that to the shopping list? Much larger wok. That would be great. So we're going to go ahead and just pull out about half of this because I'm going to make 2 batches anyways. I said that to myself earlier. And I said, I'm going to spill my beer. Party foul. I can't believe that on Wildgame Wednesday. Now, if we were on game day Sunday, I could see me doing that. But on Wildgame Wednesday, probably shouldn't be handling like a rifle and cooking and all that if I'm going to have a party foul like that. If I'm in Wisconsin, I'm sure that'd be par for the course, though. Hey-ho, Wisconsin. I'm drinking your beer. New Glares. Spotted cow. All right, so we took about half out because I'm going to do 2 batches. I'm going to do the first batch here that is more user-friendly for half the house here. It's not going to be as spicy. You're welcome. And then I'm going to do one where we're going to do basically the same thing, except we're going to take it up a level of flavor and a level of spice for you people that really like that spice. That beer is done. Good for me. All right. My wok isn't getting quite, it's pretty hot, but it's not quite as hot as I wanted. There's a little bit of a breeze blowing my flame around. But it is what it is. We'll have to deal here. Let's get this out of here. Get this out of here. Clean up a little bit. All right, so we got that. Now we are going to add just a little bit more oil so we can get that sizzle going. After all, we're doing stir fry. Just want that to get a little bit hotter for me here. It's hot. It's hot. It's just not the breath of the dragon. All right. Then we're going to add in a handful of broccoli here. And also whole mushrooms. There we go. Add a little oil. Little season. And we're going to give it a little stir. That is bumming me out. That is bumming me out. The wind is really affecting my flame right now, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm going to look and see if I can't form some sort of wind blockade here with some of my utensils and things to see if I can't get that flame going upright a little bit stronger for me. We got a little bit of a sizzle, but like I said, when you're doing this, if at all possible, as hot as possible, right? Yeah, she's working, and just that wind is really affecting her right now. We'll just let that sit for a minute. Hopefully we can get that pan up. And let's take an internal temperature right through our bacon weave into the goose. Awesome. Thank you for joining us. We're in the middle of 2 recipes going on here at the same time. Taco Maniac, more bacon porn. Well, we can do that for you, Taco Maniac. Welcome back, by the way. Great to have you here. Give him that bacon shot. Bam. Bacon weave wrapped goose breast going on here. Now, you can see here, the breast is a little bit bigger piece of meat. I'm actually going to move this. Here's our thigh right here that we left untreated. No marinade, no injection, no nothing. Smaller piece of meat, but it's cooking much, much faster, right? That's already up to 125 degrees. The goal temperature that we're looking at for both pieces of meat to be safe, to be edible, because it is a wild animal after all. It's even more critical than something you buy from the grocery store. But the temperature we're looking at is at least 165 degrees. Now, you don't want to cook the living shit out of this, because if you're cooking the living shit out of it, it's going to dry out completely. Hence why we have beautiful bacon weave. That's going to help keep the moisture, keep the flavor in there. And by the way, it's freaking bacon. 10 out of 10 on the weave. I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you so much. Pan's getting a little hotter here, which is what I want. I can hear that sizzle kicking up. We're battling a little bit of wind out here for the stir fry. That happens. We're outdoor cooking, so it's just going to take a little bit more time. Ideally, you'd want this thing just blistering effing hot. That's how you cook stir fry traditionally, but it's just not getting there. I wonder if I'm going to switch out the gas tank. Let's see if I can put a fresh gas tank in here, because that one's actually feeling a little low. If I can get that flame kicking a little harder, which I just happen to have one right here. Oh, fooled you, not beer. Gas. Don't drink gas. You have to tune into some other streamers to get that. That's a little bit stronger flame. Let's see if we can get that heat up a little bit there. But anyways, thank you for everyone for joining us. If you joined us in the past, thank you so much for coming back and checking us out. We are just getting ready. Got my pan heated up. We're doing a little stir fry, spicy goose stir fry. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let me get my mic on over here. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? That's the breath of the dragon. Breath of the dragon. Cooking stir fry, I've said this because I was disappointed. It's got to be hot, right? And that's why I want to put this goose breast in here that we sliced real thin. And we're going to do that now that I've got the heat going. Because the heat is on. It's on the street. Cooking stir fry for everyone we meet. The heat is on. All right. Effing awesome. Yes. Now, that's how stir fry. It's also Wifey Wednesday. You're going to try to get some more play. That's what he's singing. Don't worry, she's here. She's always here. Always looking gorgeous. Kansas City Jen. All right, but this is how stir fry is supposed to frickin' sound when your pan is frickin' hot. So yeah, very excited about that. Because you're stirring, you're frying. Awesome. All right, a couple seconds to let that catch up to where it needs to be. In the meantime, I'm going to take my lovely spotted cow on a walk. See what I did there? Cow for a walk. Come on. Ooh, nice. Doing some stuffed peppers. What are you putting in the peppers, brother? What kind of stuffed peppers are you doing tonight? They have a protein? Are they vegetarian? What are you doing? Let me know. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. We got a little food chat happening. All right, going to walk my spotted cow on over. Don't worry. I didn't leave you. I didn't leave you. Oh, hi. I just opened my beer and my Traeger. Reason number 755, why to get a Traeger. awesome flags, awesome beer opener. All right, now we are stir frying. Oh, Jen, come say hi to your fans. Yeah, because then you can smell how good this is. Basic is okay. Rice, ground beef, tomatoes, cheese. That's awesome. Basic doesn't mean you're killing flavor. That's awesome. All right. Come smell this, babe. Taco Maniac would appreciate a wave from you. Here we go. 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 Oh, yeah. Walk cam.
Does look good. Smells good. Nice.
There she is. You got all the camera angles. You darn tootin'. All right.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Don't worry, I'm going to have some stir fry ready for
right.
you to sample here
That
in just a
looks
couple
really good.
minutes. Thanks, babe. Thanks, baby girl. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Now, everyone likes their vegetables a little differently. Cook them to what you like. I'm a more fan of vegetables that are closer to the raw side of the spectrum, right? Like, I like that nice crunch. I don't like them when they get too soggy, all that kind of crap. But some people prefer them softer. That's all right. So make sure you're cooking your vegetables to what you like. The longer you cook them, the softer they're going to get. But as always, it's much easier to add time to cooking it, right? Oh yeah, look at, we're getting that sweet smoke coming off the stir fry there. That is freaking awesome. You can always put stuff back in and cook it longer. After it's been cooked too much, if you are the freaking Jedi soul out there that can uncook it, reverse cook it, let me know. I would need to learn your way. Huh? No, I don't need soy sauce. I'm using Croy Valley garlic ginger teriyaki sauce, which has all the necessary flavors of my stir fry that I will require. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Let's pull everything to the close side of the pan so you can see the open side, because I'm going to add the meat in here, and I want you to get a good look at that. So we'll let those just pile up. We will add everything back together here in just a moment. You see that pan? Let's give it a little fresh dash of oil. Like I said, keep that oil in the pan. You don't want stuff burn into the pan right away or doing anything like that. Grab myself a little glove here. Keep my hands all nice and clean. So fresh and so clean. All right, here we go. Got that sizzle. Got that heat. Breath of the dragon, right? Now it's time to add that meat. Drop her in there. Drop her in there. This is a garlic dish, so what are we going to season our meat with? Right on there. Why? Little garlic booster, of course. I was talking about this. We use this product called Garlic Booster, right? Because it's got not just garlic in it. It's got garlic and salt and pepper and all sorts of different things that boost your meal completely. On the market out there, and I'm not saying names or doing anything like that. There we go. Bam. Already seared that side on the hot pan. But there's a lot of what they call SPG, salt, pepper, garlic rubs. I wouldn't purchase those personally because it's salt, pepper, and garlic. If you can't figure that out, call me. Get in touch with me. I'll help you figure it out. Quick sear. Doesn't take long in a hot pan. Here, I'll pull this out. I'm going to come up close to the screen with it. Super quick. If you remember how we started with that bright red, right? Bright red. Now we're going to put everything together here. I'm actually going to, right on the side of the pan there, throw another couple pieces of meat in. That'll be good. It's about half of it. So we'll do half normal, and then we'll come back and do the other half real quick with the extra kick to it. Unnecessary long tongs. All right, now that we got the meat in there, it's already got that quick sear on both sides. Like I said, we want to be real careful not to overcook it. Now we're going to take our garlic ginger teriyaki. Thicker sauce, but when you're using it with heat, it'll create a beautiful glaze here and coat everything. Break out that wooden spoon. Start stir frying. Beautiful. Absolutely freaking beautiful. Parkety Gaming loves the garlic booster. As do I. Super thin. Doesn't take a lot to get that cooked. Now we got that glaze working in there. Making sure we stir, because we're stir frying all the way around. All right, now I'm going to grab a plate here. Move a few of these things. Don't leave it unattended for too long now, kids. Why? Because you'll burn the shit out of it. You burn the shit out of it, it's not going to taste very good. I'm going to go ahead, get a quick temp on that meat. Just about perfect. Going to need a few more seconds, not too much. We want to get it up to that mark. Don't want any nasties in there, right? No nasties. One thing I got to work on, I always want to be one of those dudes that could do like the super dope frickin' pan flip. You know, where you're like, whoo, whoo, and the shit's just like going in a circle. Not quite there. I'm not allowed to practice that inside, and being that we live in goddamn Minnesota, where it fucking snows 8 months out of the year, can't do it. Jen gets pissed. Pissed Jen, bad times. All right. Get my spoon here. We went ahead, actually Jen went ahead while I was pulling some other shit together. And did up some rice before the show. You've seen us do like rice couscous. Little garlic booster in this actually as well, because we're using a garlic dish. And cooked it with chicken stock versus water. Chicken stock will add more flavor to your rice. Also give it a little bit of color, which is nice. Let's look over here. Bam! That is looking awesome. That is smelling awesome. I'm going to get a quick temp on this thigh. That's just about where we need it to be. Get in there. Let's get the right through the bacon weave. That's coming along. All right. Back to walk cam. Thank you. This is looking, smelling delicious. So Jen did up this rice before the show. Thank you very much, babe. That is awesome of you. We're going to plate some rice. It's actually still warm. For as much as I talk, that's pretty impressive. Well done, babe. little rice. Keep that lid on it so everyone gets to enjoy it while it's warm. And then we are going to just spoon right over the top of the plate here our stir fry. And I'm going to, just for the sake of being thorough, yep, we are good. We are good. Goose is cooked all the way through. Like I said, hot pan doesn't take very long. Some beautiful stir-fry colors there. You could top this with like a little sesame seed or green onion if you have it. Let's clean that plate up just around the edge. Grab another plate here. Go. And we're serving up our goose stir fry here, all right? Contains broccoli, mushrooms, onions, 2 varieties of bell pepper, and of course, goose that has been marinated for 24 hours in Croy Valley hot and spicy marinade. And then we did everything in our wok here. All right, kids, who's ready for some stir fry? It's her goose. Yep. Come on. Somebody come and get their plates. You want the spicy one, though? Yeah, so you got to wait. No, this is the not spicy version. Forks are right over here. Right under there. You want to take a bite? She's shot a goose. She's killed an animal, but she has never tried it. Go ahead. Both of them are non-spicy. They're both the same. They're just on different looking plates. I would set it on the table so you don't flip the whole thing over. There's knives too. Not that one. There you go. It's wild game. It's going to be a little bit tougher. What do you think?
I like that.
You do like it. There you go.
I didn't think I would like it, but I do like it.
What? It's brown. They're small. No. Well, kind of like cooked red meat.
It has really good flavor. I like it.
So what does it remind you of when you eat it?
I don't know, like pork mixed, actually like chicken mixed with pork mixed with beef.
So it's kind of like all meats got together and had a baby, and when they pooped out the baby,
Yes.
there was a Canadian goose.
That is my consensus.
That is a lovely, lovely freaking description. All right, go ahead and take your plate. Let's get victim number 2 up to try our stir fry. Come on. Let's go, lady. Huh? I'll have a taste with you. Come on over. These are spoons. Why do we have spoons? There we go. I got a knife. All right, come on over there, babe. So here's a piece of goose right here.
This is pretty.
It is pretty.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Aw.
All right, there's your piece of goose.
Okay.
Just try it straight up.
Yeah.
Ready?
That's very good.
Pretty good, huh?
Tastes like steak to me. Tastes like teriyaki chicken. Well, no,
So teriyaki chicken steak.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the importance of seasoning and marinating, right? Because we're going to get all frickin' Oscar Wilde over here, call the wild frickin' Olivia. And she's going to taste the goose that hasn't been treated, too, so she can taste the animal that she killed in a raw cooked form. Not raw. Don't eat fucking raw animals, kids. But she's going to taste it in a raw form. All right, go ahead and take your dish. Here's your knife. Go enjoy. I know you're hungry, because guess what? Jen's always hungry. There we go.
Beautiful dish. Thank you.
No problem. I'm glad you enjoy it. All right, now I got to make up a little stir fry here for Parker and I as well. So we're going to review the dish, but we're going to add an extra element to it, right? I kind of wait for like everyone to respond. They're like, yeah, right, let's do it. Let's get some fresh oil in the pan. Get that sizzle going. I will on this one, dear. There we go. Onions and peppers. Get those starting to cook. Of course, what do I say? Season everything. Bam. Season everything. Let's go. Season it up. Season it up. We're going to get that cooking just for a minute here. And this round will obviously, now that we got the full flame going here, is going to go a lot quicker than the first one did because we were running a little bit low on flame. If you're joining us, thank you. I appreciate you being here on another episode of Wildgame Wednesday. It's kind of crazy. We're already on episode 5 of this, episode 6 on another couple shows. Always remember, you can tune in, catch us several times a week. Friday nights, we have our Friday night barbecue party, and you're invited, where we just cut loose doing a lot of fun, different stuff. Having some drinks, kicking the weekend off right. That's what I'm talking about. Sunday, you can catch us for Game Day Smokedown, where we're always doing like tailgating-inspired recipes. So whether you're into football, baseball, hockey, or even your favorite esports, find some great dishes that you can share with friends and cook together. You don't have to cook together, but you can eat together and have a really good time together. And so that's on Sundays. And then, of course, you're tuned in to Wildgame Wednesday, where we cook wild animals. Tonight, we're doing Canadian goose. We're just working on our second stir fry here. And we're going to take up a level. We're going to take it up a notch. Same basic ingredients. We've got the peppers and onions going. I am going to throw in now some lovely mushrooms and a handful of broccoli. And we're going to add some fresh oil into the pan, along with Spicy Booster. Jen's sitting over there. She can't actually say anything right now. That's why she's in the chat, because she's got her mouth full of stir fry. She just looks up and you're like, but that's great, because Jim's always not been a fan mentally of like wild game and things like that. And I've said this before, I've always made it my conscious goal when I'm cooking wild game, whether it be elk, deer, bison, boar, whatever it happens to be, to make it into recipes that she likes. Helps change that mentality. A lot of people have that mentality. Ew, it's wild game. It's wild game. It's going to taste gamey. It doesn't have to. Does that taste gamey at all to you, ladies?
Not at all. Not at all.
Tastes like teriyaki chicken, but it's not. It's a goose that was shot in the wild. She says, You can't hear her probably, but she says, I can't even believe I like it this much. So there you go. There's your endorsement. Seasoning, right? We marinated the shit out of this. 24 hours in hot and spicy marinade. And she can tell you too, so it sat in a bag with hot and spicy marinade. Are you burning your lips off? No, they're not. They're housing that. Right, because it's not about eating something so hot you can't enjoy it. All right. In the traditional Asian sense, I'm enjoying my Wisconsin beer while I stand in my green flannel, warming my rear end off my Traeger ironwood while I make pheasant stir fry. Huh? Hey, what up, brother? Thank you for being here. Awesome to see friends of ours coming back and checking in and being here. That is so awesome. We really appreciate it. Thank you for joining us, X-Ray. We're just working on a stir fry here. I've got wok cam. Yeah, man, we're on 3 times a week. Whether the people like it or not, we'll be here. But thank you for joining us as well. You could just in time. We're just working on a spicy Canadian Goose Stir Fry. Just got the veggies going here. And we're going to throw in some goose. So I just moved all the veggies over to one side because I love to get the sear, right? The initial sear on this goose right on the outside so it helps lock that moisture in a little bit. So we're going to add a little fresh oil here. I'm going to grab a glove. We got wok cam. Yeah, go back to wok cam when I do this. Don't worry, I can stall till the video's done. Yeah, it is. And then, but it's a 2-for-1 special tonight, brother. Because over here in the ironwood, I've got bacon wrapped goose breast that we have going on here. As well as some yellow zucchini that we seasoned up. So we got 2 different dishes of goose going on tonight. The girls are already housing the first round. I actually need to prep these real quick. So this is how we're going to take it up a notch. Get one of my disposable cutting boards here. It's delicious because I shot it. She would have been real disappointed with it if it tasted horrible. No, you can't do that. It's not going to show up. All right. There's my knife. So, we got our vegetables going. Just take just a second here, because how we're going to up the spice level on this is we're going to add these beautiful little serrano peppers here. Serrano are spicy. So we're going to take the ends off of these. And I'm going to wear a glove while handling these. I do the same thing with jalapenos, because like typical, I get done cooking, I forget to wash my hands well enough, because you really got to wash your hands. Yeah, ooh, spicy's right. And then what do? I touch my freaking eyes or something like that, and then my eyes are burning. And then we're just going to go across all 4 of these bad boys here. Cut them into nice little, very thin. They kind of look like mini little jalapenos, but same family. There we go. That's good enough. That'll be plenty. Let's actually get a few of those working in there right now. Right in there. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter what the food. As long as you're cooking, having a good time, sharing it with friends, family, yourself, it's all good. That's what's awesome about it. All right, we got this beautiful duck here. You see on the wok cam, going right on the edge there. Oh yeah, listen to that. Nice and thinly cut. So we're making a stir fry. We're going to do that right on the edge of that pan there. Then we'll drop a little garlic seasoning on here. Little garlic booster. Give that just a second to sear on one side. Super hot pan. Only takes a quick minute. Grab your unusually long tongs and just flip them over to the other side. We'll get that sear on the other side. Now don't fill up all on stir fry because we have bacon weave duck breast too that you got to eat. So duck, goose, duck. Either way, Olivia didn't really shoot it. All right, you can see right there. Flip that over real quick. There we go. Seared it real quick. Took on that nice color. We just flipped them over. Look at that. All right, now that they get taken on that sear, let's go ahead, mix everything together in here. Mix it all up, nice and even. Grab a few more serranos and sprinkle them through. All right, now let's get that sauce in there and get that sauce working, coating everything. Dang, I used a lot of sauce on that one. Hopefully this will be enough here. Running low. Huh? It's on the counter. Gonna get a little bit more of this ginger teriyaki sauce. Just take it with you if you're done with that plate. Oh, well, that's fine too. Let's set it there. All right, hurry. Garlic ginger teriyaki. It doesn't have a label on it. It's on the kitchen island. They're all brown. One of them's orange. And one of them has a label. Let's see if the goose hunter, through the power of deductive reasoning, can figure this out. Few chunks of goose here that I have left. I'm just going to throw these on the back. Cook them out. Waste not, want not. Little thicker than I wanted for the stir fry. Slow down, young one. Don't trip on a cable there. Thank you kindly. There we go. Like I said, thicker sauce. Get that in there. Get that working. That'll be plenty. I can go down there. There we go. Life is good. Get everything coated nicely. Start cleaning this up a little bit. Because we have other things to do. We've got a whole nother dish. Yo, Noxious in the house, everybody. Thanks for joining us, brother. Appreciate you being here. You arrived. We're just getting ready to plate up our goose stir fry that we're doing. We got another goose dish that's working its way out on the Traeger back here. We're doing a bacon weave wrapped goose breast with some rustic vegetables. And this is spicy. Man, the Takis, man, would like this. We've got serrano peppers in this one. I cooked a version for the ladies real quick that I didn't include the peppers in. But we have goose that's been marinating in hot and spicy marinade. We've got broccoli, fresh mushrooms, fresh red and green peppers and onions that are all working together here in our wok. We just added garlic ginger teriyaki sauce. And this is about ready to plate. So let's get a plate over here. Grab yourself a fork and knife. You're going to need those anyways. There you go. Thanks, man. I like the purple too. It's a, you know, giving a little different vibe on Wednesday nights. A little bit wild. Jen likes it when I do voices. Fluff my rice up a little bit here. This is going to be the picture one, I think. I can feel this. This is going to look good. So we're just going to put our rice right in the middle of the plate. Fluff it up. Fluff it up. Easy peasy. Go ahead and get it so it's nice and even all the way around. And then I'm going to grab, if I can find it, because I set things down and then I lose them. Where the hell did I put it? It's got to be around here somewhere. There it is. It was under my pan. Got to grab my thermometer. Want to check that temperature of that meat. We are good to go. And Parker, my man, this one's going to be coming up for you. You are going to have to wait a second because this is going to be gorgeous. And I am going to take a picture of it because it's absolutely going to be beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and turn that heat off. We got everything we needed to cook in that pan cooked. You'll see we have, I love cooking with color, right? We've got green, we've got red, we've got browns, we got whites. We're serving on a green plate to help make that broccoli pop just a little bit there. White plate's always great too. I mean, white's a great standard plate because everything pops off that, especially when you're dealing with some darker, richer colors like we are right here. And then, of course, because this is the spicy one, right? Do you think I have enough Takis for my Insta post? Dude, you can never have enough Takis. But yeah, how long is it going to take you to go through those, man? That's where you know if you have a problem or not. He's got like a post where he's got like 8 bags of Takis, all different flavors. Yeah. So oh yeah, there's a bunch of different flavors. I just learned that as well through my Taki experience. But that's where you know if you have a problem, Noxious, is if you're like, that'll last me a day and a half. Then you might have a Taki problem. But if that'll last you like, I don't know, 2.5 days, you're probably good. All right, so we got that beautiful. And when I'm cooking for competition and things like that, look at that, looking awesome. I will actually go into these dishes and you'll see me cleaning up the plate here for the picture with just a little bit of a wet paper towel just to clean up these edges and not have loose sauce around. But you'll actually see me go into these dishes that we make with tweezers. That is a beautiful shot right there. Nice work. All right, and because this is spicy, we are going to add a few raw serrano peppers. You can eat them raw. It's not a big deal. There's a garnish on here. Make that look nice and pretty. Just a few. They're already in there. They're already cooked in there, so you don't have to go crazy with them. Just a little bit to say, hi, how's it going? I'm a little bit spicy. It's nice to meet you. All right. And that's what we're looking right there. That is our Spicy Goose Stir Fry for Wildgame Wednesday. Man, I want to screen grab that shot. That is actually so beautiful. All right. And Parker, just wait 1 second while I snap a picture of this bad boy here. And then you can dig in, my man. See right there? There's a mushroom turned the wrong way. In food sport, that right there can kill you. As far as points are concerned, right? We're just worried about flavor and approachability. But I always got that little bit of a food sport perfectionist vibe going on. All right. Now let me check real quick, because usually when I do this, I'm like, I got the perfect shot. I got the perfect shot. And then I go back and look at it, and guess what? It's all freaking blurry. All right. Good enough. There you go. Give that a go, my man. Give that a go. If you're just joining us, we just finished up our Spicy Goose Stir Fry. Contains goose, of course, that's been marinated for 24 hours in hot and spicy marinade. After that, we seasoned it with garlic booster, and that went into the wok, along with onions, red, green bell peppers, broccoli, and mushrooms, whole mushrooms in there, because they look beautiful, they cook well, they hold their moisture. When you're cooking at a high heat, which is the key to stir fry and doing it well and doing it efficiently, you want to cook at a high temperature. We had to switch our gas out because I wasn't getting the flame. I thought it was the wind. It wasn't the wind so much as it was I was running on low gas. So hot, fast, doesn't take long. Look at that. It glistens. It glistens. So super stoked. This one is spicy because we added serrano peppers to it, all right? If you don't want super spicy, don't add the serrano peppers. We cooked with those inside the wok and then garnished with a few raw ones just to give that extra little punch at the end. All right. Huh? Oh, yeah. I can do that. Bam. All right. So there is stir fry. Now we are going to check our temperature on our goose that we have on the bacon weave back here and see where we're sitting on that. It's damn near done. We're just a few degrees off here. But you can see the color that this is taking on. This thigh is probably done. Yep, I can pull that guy off. So go ahead and grab my tongs. Couple of loose pieces we didn't use in the stir fry here that we're just grilling. And you can grill goose much like you would grill a steak. Here, if you I'll pull this up here, this little bit of a thick piece that I threw on there. Too thick to use in the stir fry. But look at that. Nice little grill marks on that. So we'll just put that back on there. Little extra piece, but we can see our bacon weave taking on real nice color there, helping to keep that meat moist. But here's our thigh that we only dropped a little bit of seasoning on. All right, Miss Hunter, come try your goose without any flavor to it, or essentially marinating work, all that kind of good stuff that we've talked about. Grab your plate so we have something to put it on. I've got my sweet Gunter Wilhelm scimitar knife here. Look at, like Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, man. This is my meat cutting machine. I'm not going to make you gnaw it off the bone, as much as I'd love to. Already, We're just going to trim this off almost like Fogo de Chao style. Right, just use your fork or your hands, whatever. Yeah, it is hot. It just came off the grill. That's right, kids. Just use your fork. Put it in your mouth. You have a huge mouth. It's always yapping.
The outside is a lot crispier, which I kind of like. But it's a lot drier.
It is a lot drier.
And kind of more salty.
Definitely a higher salt level to it. This is not balanced out with anything else. It's not horrible, don't get me wrong. This is actually a really good tasting goose. But it's not the same, is it?
No, it's not the same. I like the other one better.
You want another piece?
No.
She doesn't want another piece. All right, thank you. Oh, yeah, and this piece here, super dry. I didn't cook it above. Yeah, and it is very salty. You can taste that. So that's what happens. Not as an enjoyable experience as the stir fry, is it?
It tastes like a completely different meat.
Tastes like a completely different meat. Noxious says, hi, Olivia. Jen, do you want to try it?
No, thank you.
Jen doesn't even want to try it.
No, Parker, go for it.
She's a scaredy cat.
Yeah.
Here. Hot. See that steaming? So anyway, it's completely different when you don't treat it. Highly recommend when you're cooking duck, goose, anything like that. You're going to want to marinate it. You're going to want to inject it. You're going to want to do a little bit of legwork ahead of time to ensure that your meat turns out properly, okay? So we're just waiting. We're right below where we need to be. We're shooting for 165 degrees because that'll make sure that there's no nasties floating around in your meat. That'll give you the poops or the pukes or anything else like that. There are wild parkers in the woods this Wednesday. Last Wednesday was a rare species, but this Wednesday we've seen a lot of them. That's what Olivia's hoping to get her tag for probably next season. So thank you for joining us. We just finished up, like I said, our stir fry, which we just showed you. Spicy, the not so spicy version that has just a little kick because it's flavor. You got to have a little bit of kick. And the girls house that. Parker, you try your stir fry yet? Try your stir fry while it's hot. And our little hunks here, those didn't take long. I'm going to pull those guys off before it becomes goose jerky. But you can grill them straight up. Add seasoning, you know. These have been marinated and stuff. So they're going to have a little bit more flavor than like we did the leg. Because I wanted to show you. Different flavor deal altogether. Olivia will attest to that. It has a lot saltier taste. And it's a little bit drier than what we were doing with the other stuff. Because it hasn't been marinated. It hasn't sat. It hasn't been, flavored. So that's why people go, it tastes gamey. You see the difference? Now you should be thankful for all the wild game that I cooked, that I flavor, and you're like, oh my gosh, I love this elk squash. Oh, this recipe's got to go on the website. You're a genius. I fucking know. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Let's take one final temp here. Make sure we're looking good. All right, we're gonna pull this bad boy out. Now this is a larger piece of meat that we got going on here. So we're gonna pull it out. I'm not just gonna slice into it right away, okay? And I'll explain that here in just a second. Now I gotta get a picture of that just is the way it is. Because these guys are done too. So I'm actually going to set them on top of my wok for now. That's not going anywhere. because we're going to plate all this stuff. So, beautiful bacon weave that we have wrapped around here. You should see this up close. Like, just, can you see it? Here. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. For presentation, when you set that out on your table, what part of the area you're hunting it on? This was caught in northern Minnesota. If that's what you're asking, where this goose was harvested from. Up by Lake Mille Lacs area. This is going to take a second. I just wanted you to see how beautiful the bacon weave is, because that's freaking beautiful. So imagine putting that just on a dish with some garnish around it and stuff, and bringing that out to the table and then slicing it in front of your guests. You're going to get that ooh and ah factor, right? You're going to get that ooh and ah factor, and it's so easy. We showed you right at the top how to do that bacon weave. Literally just took a few moments. So it's a larger piece of meat, right? It's going to continue to cook, so we need to let it do its thing for just a minute, because the temperature will continue to rise. But the other main reason, if you just go in there and you slice into this piece of meat, all the juices are going to spill out, and you're going to end up with a drier piece of meat that's tougher to chew. So we're going to wait for it for just a second to let those juices distribute back through as the meat rests. That's why they call it resting. Thank you. We're going to let the meat rest, and these juices are going to redistribute back through the meat. So we're going to give this just a couple minutes here. 5 minutes is probably enough. We won't necessarily wait that long, because we're on live freaking stream. But long enough to finish this drink of beer, open a new one, and get ready to plate. Our squash is all done too. They have roasted up really nicely in the pan. And you're going to see this. I'm going to present this on a cutting board. Oh, no. It can taste gamey based on what the animal eats. If you hunt animal more to the north, they taste gamey because the year pines and other things. Oh, they like eat, I'm guessing is what I said. Unlike down here where they're corn and beans to eat. Yes, that's true. Absolutely. We've talked about that before on Wildgame Wednesday. Diet makes up a big part of what they eat. And you're right. They can get corn in Minnesota almost anywhere. So most of the wild game that we cook, Olivia claims to have shot this goose.
I did.
That's out. I did. It's out. It's out for debate right now. We saw pictures of her holding goose. We didn't see any picture of her shooting goose. But most of the wild game that we cook is harvested in Montana, and they eat a lot of berries and roots and different things like that. And see, I don't think it tastes gamey depending on that. There's also other you're right, the diet does affect the flavor and how people perceive it. But there's also a lot of other things with animals too that can affect the gaminess, and that can be the tenderness as well. And if that animal's had stress on their life and things like that, especially at the end. Like Olivia, for example, winged a bird, and then her friends had to kill it, and that animal had more stress. Hopefully that wasn't one of these, because these are pretty tender and nice. But she probably really stressed out that animal, and then it all tensed up, and now it's tough meat, and somebody's eating a tough goose because Olivia can't shoot. Just saying. But the diet does absolutely affect it, for sure. Oh, maybe Olivia, the huntress queen, would like to answer this question. Noxious asks, if you shot it, and I like how he phrases this, if you shot it, I don't think he means it for me or him. I think he's like, if you shot this hypothetical goose, what range does it need to be shot at to kill it?
Depends on the choke that you're using.
It depends on the choke that you're using. Or in Olivia's case, that range would be what's considered point blank.
Not true. I shot mine at 20 to 30 yards. I was using a full choke.
So Olivia missed hers at 20 to 30 yards, but that would be normal for most people to kill a goose. If that answers your question. All right, I'm going to open this beer here real quick because it's the final beer of Wildgame Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. It's good to see so many of our friends back. We can actually see a little bit of that juice already escaping out. What choke you using?
A full choke.
Full choke. Because she missed. That's a full choke. All right, I'm going to take a quick picture here, and then we're going to slice into this bad boy. And we actually got some bacon juice running, which is all right. I just want to wipe my hands real quick so I can get a good shot for the Insta-Shizzle. We'll include my trusty Gunter Wilhelm there, because we're using our meat cutting blade here. All right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Where are my unusually long tongs? Meat's still hot, so be careful. Use a glove. Noxious says use mod. It spreads faster, and then you might actually hit something and kill it. I added the last part to his comment. He didn't say that. Oh, look at she thinks she shot a goose, and now she's a freaking expert. Where's your stream show? I went hunting once, and now I'm an expert with Olivia. All right, let's cut into. Are you ready for goose? You're standing here with your plate. Let's cut into this goose. You can come up here. Look at how small she is. The goose is bigger than she is. All right, so we're going to slice this guy open. The bacon looks nice. The bacon's crispy. People can eat the bacon with it. The bacon isn't designed to be the star of the show. You don't even have to serve it with it. It's to keep them. You can eat the bacon. I just said that. God damn it. People can eat the bacon. Olivia will eat the bacon. But the main thing, the reason we use the bacon on such a big piece of meat like this versus the thigh, which you saw, which was drier, yes?
Yes.
And saltier, right? There's still salt in bacon, but we did marinade, we did seasoning, all that kind of stuff. We even seasoned the bacon. So let's cut this bad boy open. We're going to cut at a nice angle here to give you a shot. Beautifully done all the way through. And I know with the lighting it's a little bit harsh, but you see how we didn't spill juice just out of that? This is from the bacon down here. Noxious just challenged Olivia to trap shooting.
Okay.
My money's on Noxious.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going trap shooting Sunday.
Yeah, you are. Absolutely gorgeous here. Go ahead and give it a try. What do you think?
It's very tender.
Very tender. That's what we want. We didn't overcook it. We cooked it to temperature, took it to 165, and then it probably gained a few extra degrees as it sat and rested. Didn't lose its juices. Go ahead and take some bacon. All right, now get out of here because I'm going to plate this thing up nice for the folks at home. Noxious shot competitively and went to state. Did you see that?
I did.
I'm glad my money was already laid down. And I'm actually just going to pull this bacon weave off right now so you can see me cut into this thing. My stupid, unusually long tongs are making it difficult to hold on to this piece of meat. So I'm going to do it. And this is probably not going to be much better. And it's not, because it doesn't have fingers. Like Frosty the frickin' Snowman here trying to cut through. All right. Good enough for what we're doing here. Move a few things out of the way. And I'm going to, when I'm doing rustic, you're going to be at my stream on Friday, Max? What time are you streaming? Because you know I stream on Friday because it's always Friday night barbecue party. So depending on what time, I'll drop in for sure if I can. All right. You want to flip this down So we cut that up, and now we are going to create our presentation here. We're going to take our beautiful slices. And so here's your little trick for when you're presenting. Start with one slice in the back and lay it completely flat. 8 p.m. on YouTube. Dog will probably be barbecue partying because we start at 7 p.m. But maybe we can stop by at some point, depending on how long you're going for. I will try to make it. We're going to take our goose here. That is really freaking good. That's really good. We're going to stack that up. Just like that. And I'll take, this is cold, not cold, but cool enough to touch now. Right down the middle of the plate. Absolutely gorgeous. And then we're going to take right along the side here are large circles, because if you were here at the beginning of the show, you remember we had a debate whether over full moons or half moons. So we're going to take our rustic zucchinis. And place them on the outer edge. Like so. That one got a little extra char, but that's all right. That looks good. All right, so we got our zucchini going down the edge there. And then, need to wash my hands just a little bit. You're on for 2 hours. Probably be able to make it at some point towards the end of it. And then we are going to take, right here, I've just got a little bit of mixed salad. And then a little strawberry vinaigrette dressing that we prepped a little bit beforehand. And that's probably why the freaking lid is sticking. Here, my hands are a little bit. Pop that open for me.
My hands are greasy.
I know, but now the bottle's probably greasy.
It is.
You don't have to open it on camera. Thank you.
I got it.
And this is how you open a bottle. Where's my stupid? There we go. And lovely shot of my beer with the salad. And I don't have any salad tossing devices, so I'm just going to use a hand. And toss that dressing with the salad. I always prefer to serve salad to my guests dressed before it hits the table. I don't believe in setting out like a bottle of ranch and a bottle of this and a bottle of this. I think the salad should be a thought with the meal, and it should be dressed already. They shouldn't have to do anything to it if they're your guests. If you're having like a barbecue or whatever, that might be different. But if you're presenting like a dish, right? You're like, this is going to be the main star, I'm having people over. They shouldn't have to dress their own salad. That should come to them already dressed. So we're going to do that right like that. down that side. And then just to finish it off with the meat there, just so the meat's not so stark, all on its own, is we're going to take a little bit of fresh thyme and go right down the center and sprinkle that over the dish. And if you saw us use thyme on a previous episode, all you have to do, run your finger right down the stem, and it'll come right off. Super easy. See that? Super simple. Adds a little green, adds just a little pop of flavor. And you can actually add a little bit of that to your vegetables as well, just for color and flavor, of course. We'll do one more stem here. One more. And there we have it. Super easy, right? We've got our bacon wrapped duck breast. I said that because they're so interchangeable. Bacon wrapped goose, Canadian goose to be specific, with rustic roasted squash and a strawberry poppy seed vinaigrette dressing. All plated on a lovely cutting board. Your guests will love that. You can set it out. Remember, you can always slice in front of your guests for that extra little flair. Babe, you want to try this? Olivia tried it and really enjoyed it. Yeah, and Parker will too. I want you to just try a little piece of the meat because it tastes different. Got to get a couple shots here, of course. You got a knife? Got a fork? In a minute. All right, we're going to have Jen give this a little taste. Olivia tasted it, really enjoyed it. Let's get Miss Kansas City over here, of course.
All right.
Give her a go. Just take a piece there and... You might want to take a piece big enough that you can actually taste it.
It's not too bad. I like the stir fry better, but it's tender.
Yes, it is tender. Because we didn't overcook it. Cooked to temperature. Different flavor profile, though, with the garlic and herb, huh? There's your roasted zucchini squash paired with the strawberry poppy seed dressing.
Very good. I like it.
So there we go. Canadian goose. 2 ways. 2 very different ways. One more a little bit formal, if you wanted to say that. Another in a quick stir fry method. Both different flavor profiles. You can do a lot with it. It doesn't have to taste like wild game, right? As long as you take the precautions, I wouldn't say precautions, but take steps to season. And that just doesn't go for wild game. That goes for any type of cooking. Season it, prepare it with love, cook it to temperature, not for time. Remember, you can always follow us on our Instagram channel, Facebook, Twitter. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors that help support us out on the competition scene. That's Gunter Wilhelm Cutlery, Con Coolers, The Beard Struggle, Croy Valley, and Paws. You can check them all out by clicking the links in our About section. Today's Wildgame Wednesday cooked goat. No, cooked goose. As in, your goose is cooked, Noxious, if I ever dust off the controller and get into Modern Warfare again. Because I used to play back in the original Black Ops days. I'm not like, Black Ops days, yeah, I was blowing people away before you were born. Anyways, thank you so much to all of them. Thank you so much for all of you tuning in, spending some of your time with us. We really do appreciate it, and we hope to see you at Friday at our Friday night barbecue party, and then once again at Sunday at Game Day Smokedown. Have a great night. Take care of each other, and remember, as always, for those about to cook, I salute you.